Alright, hello everyone. Last video, we talked about what a function was. Today, we are going to start comparing functions. We're going to look to see which one has the greater rate of change. Because a lot of the questions that you may see are going to, be comparing two functions to see which one is greater. Maybe even it'll be lesser. I'm going to be honest with you, you're more likely to find greater. So let's do a quick recap. So a function, one input gets one output. That's it. So I have only one birthday. So we're going to talk about people, we're going to talk about birthdays. Multiple people can have the same birthday. I know multiple people, including family members, believe it or not, that share the same birthday as I do. However, I cannot have one person having multiple birthdays. It just doesn't work like that. So here we're going to compare functions through graphs, through equations, through tables. That's primarily how we're going to determine them. So let's look at the graphs first. When we're looking at a graph, we need to find whichever has the steeper slope. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a money sign right next to this. And I bet you're wondering, well, why? I want you to look at graph A, graph B. I want you to determine which one of those two with no context would I rather have if I'm looking at money. Which one would I rather get if I'm getting money? Would I rather grow money at A's pace? Right here. I'm trying to draw over this. Let's see if that works. Or am I going to want to grow it at B's rate? Thinking to yourself, I'd rather go with B. So graph B has the greater. Now you can go one of two ways. You can say rate of change, or you can write slope. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this up here. Rate of change equals slope. Whichever vocab you see, whichever terminology you see, I want you to write down. So if it asks you for the greater slope, write slope. If it says greater rate of change, write rate of change. Here we're going to write slope. Alright? Now we're going to go under the idea that everything is a function in this case. In this case it is. It may not always be the case. We will get there once we cross that. Alright, so now we're done with graphs. So we're going to look for the steeper slope. Equations. Same thing. So let's do a little bit of review here. So you guys remember y equals mx plus b from the previous unit. Our m here talks about our slope. The b here represents the y-intercept. So no matter what, I'm going to be looking at the number in front of the x. In this case, the b does not matter. That y-intercept does not matter in this case. So we're looking at A, we're looking at B. Number for x, so we have 6, and we have 2. Which one's greater? A. This one has the greater slope. We don't have enough room on here. I'm not going to make you write that down. So let's look at C. So if we're going to look at table, guess what? We're still going to find the greater slope. Which of these two has the highest jump? So we haven't necessarily talked about a table yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write y over x. We're going to count our jumps for y. and we're going to count our jumps for x. Well, the x bar here is easy, 0, 1, 2. If I were to keep on going on, which I'm not going to, it looks like it's only going up 1. Here and here. I'm not worried about that. The y's, however, are going to be different. So let's see here. Our jump here. How do I go from 5 to 8? How would I go from 8 to 11? I'm going up 3. So here I've got 3 over 1, which is just 3. For B, how do I go from 10 to 20? How do I go from 20 to 30? I'm going up 10. So for B, I'm going 10 over 1, which is 10. Again, we don't have enough room here, so I'm going to say B has the greater slope. So again, when we're comparing functions here, a lot of times it is looking for that rate of change or the slope. So it's just a matter of, are we looking at it through an equation, through a table, or through a graph? Or 2 equations, 2 tables, 2 graphs. Again, if you have any questions, please ask Mr. Perry. He is here to help.